For over a century, a tradition of intercollegiate athletic excellence has been strong in central Nebraska. This is an inside look at that tradition. This is the University of Nebraska-Kearney Loper Review. Loper Review is brought to you by Nebraska Star Beef, from our family to yours.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Loper Review. I'm your host, Randy Bushcutter. Well, this month we're standing in front of the College of Education here at the University of Nebraska at Kearney, as our main feature this month will go to the heart of the heritage of this university, being a teacher's college. That story takes us to a couple of elementary schools in Kearney where members of the women's basketball team take part in a program that helps them become adults by getting in touch with their childhood. Then in our senior spotlight, we'll talk to a football player who has seen the highs and lows of college athletics in more ways than one. And on MIAA 101, we'll take a look at the history of the conference itself. It's going to be a fun half hour, so stay with us right here on Loper Review.
Loper Review is brought to you by Nebraska Star Beef.
The Nebraska Star Beef Pure Promise. No antibiotics, no hormones, humane treatment of animals, USDA choice or higher, a price that is always fair, and satisfaction guaranteed. At Nebraska Star Beef, we pay close attention to what we feed our families and are passionate about delivering beef that you can feel good about serving to your family. Visit us at nebraskastarbeef.com for more information.
Programming is made possible in part by the Museum of Nebraska Art in Kearney. From the artist explores, through the modern era, to the art of today, Mona tells the story of Nebraska through the art of Nebraska. Whether you're online at mona.unk.edu or on our doorstep, there's always something new to see and do.
You're watching the Nebraska Star Beef Loper Review.
Welcome back. Well, here at UNK, they have a special program called Junior Herd. It's a 4-year program where they take special activities that help maximize the college experience, as well as helping these athletes become better citizens. This semester, several members of the women's basketball team have chosen to become a teacher's aide for 1 hour a week at some Kearney elementary schools. It's worked out well for the athletes, the teachers, and especially the young students. We start our look at the Junior Herd program with background information from program coordinator Michelle Eck.
It's the Junior Herd program. It was created by Brittany Wynett, and it was created for Once a Loper, Always a Loper, where that's designed for the student athletes in various classes. The freshmen have an alumni meet and greet where they get acquainted with Kearney, and then the sophomores do the Junior Herd program. The juniors do resume and career building activities, and then the seniors have a banquet where they reflect back on their times at Kearney and their accomplishments. The teachers and the principals are very excited about the program, so they welcome any help they can get, and it's fun for the students to have student athletes come into their classroom and they help them out with math and various activities. It's been very positive. The athletes seem to have a really fun time. They go in, and I've heard various stories about the students with Chantel Thomas. She has a unique experience being from Australia, and the students are asking her if she's from Britland, and so it's kind of a geography lesson. So they get that opportunity, and I know Laramie has said that she's gotten the opportunity to connect with different students, so it's been a positive one.
I just feel like I was really nervous going in because with the first graders, I didn't really know what to expect, and I've had a blast with who I've been put with and the kids that I've gotten to know. My sister teaches second grade back home, and I really enjoyed the kids when I'd help her class and stuff. So I felt like maybe it'd be the same here. And the little kids it never ceases me to like make me smile, and just it makes my day being with the first graders.
Well, we got an email about it, and I asked a 5th grade teacher who I knew, and she said it's great to have just more hands in the classroom. And so being a first-year teacher, I thought the more people I can get in to help me with especially younger students, the better. So I snatched up as many as I could. That's definitely the challenge, is to find time while teaching to explain to them what I want them to do, and then developing that relationship with them, because they're only here for an hour and we don't really get a lot of communication. When they first come in, I had them introduce themselves, tell the class what their major is, what sport they play, and so the kids kind of get to know them, and that way I do too. All the athletes that have come in to help have really just jumped right into what I'm asking them to do. I've asked them to either work in a small group with kids without me even being there, and they're just like, yeah, I can do that. Yes, I'll help. And so I've really seen that initiative, and they're just willing to do whatever I ask them to do, even if they don't know what they're doing, but they're confident with it, even if they have never been in a classroom like this.
Sending out emails to teachers that have done it previously and principals where they share it with their teachers, and then it turns into a word of mouth from previous years, and all of the feedback I've heard is that it's been very positive for both the teachers and the student athletes.
The first week we just kind of got introduced to each other, let them kind of know who I am, let me know who their groups are, and then the past couple weeks we've been doing spelling and then math groups, and there's 6 kids in each group that I work with, and there's different levels, and so I work with all 3 groups, and we either play math games or flashcards, and we do a little bit of individual work, but for the most part I just kind of work in groups and do math with them.
So far, the Junior Herd program has been a win-win situation for everyone involved. And we'll take a closer look at that when we come back right after this.
Loper Review is brought to you by Nebraska Star Beef.
The Nebraska Star Beef Pure Promise. No antibiotics, no hormones, humane treatment of animals, USDA choice or higher, a price that is always fair, and satisfaction guaranteed. At Nebraska Star Beef, we pay close attention to what we feed our families and are passionate about delivering beef that you can feel good about serving to your family. Visit us at nebraskastarbeef.com for more information.
Programming is made possible in part by the Museum of Nebraska Art in Kearney. From the artist explores through the modern era to the art of today, Mona tells the story of Nebraska through the art of Nebraska. Whether you're online at mona.unk.edu or on our doorstep, there's always something new to see and do.
You're watching the Nebraska Star Beef Loper Review.
Welcome back to Loper Review as we take a look at the Junior Herd program. Now, the student athletes only spend an hour a week in the classroom, but it's been rewarding how much they can accomplish in that one short hour.
I feel like they set it up to get athletes out in the community, so then maybe it encourages the community to come support us, and for those kids to have someone to look up to. I guess in small schools, you know who your high school is, you're part of that same high school. And here, there's however many different elementaries, and then you could go to Kearney Catholic or Kearney High. But where in a small school, we're Hitchcock County from K through 12, and so the high schoolers do get to go home, and they get to go back to the classrooms and be with the kids and read or do homework with them, mentor them. And so I think getting us out there and giving them a role model, someone to look up to, is a big opportunity for this program, I feel like.
I mean, overall, I just think that it is a really great program. It benefits, I've gotten the opportunity to see the student athletes go into the classrooms, and it's a lot of fun. The students, the elementary school students, just light up, and they get so excited to, talk about basketball or volleyball, and, they're Lopers, and, they're huge fans. And so I think it's a lot of fun for the students.
It's a chance for them to get smaller group attention. Like, it's someone that's giving them attention that they may not get anywhere else, and they're looking at them. So the students are looking at the athletes as just this, awesome adult that's going to spend time with me, and individual time or small group time, and they want to, and they're helping me learn.
I think just adjusting to everyone's learning abilities and how they respond. I mean, kids are going to grow up to be just like we are, and whether it's how they learn or how they communicate with you, I think that's very important to learn. Just you learn it your whole life is how someone else communicates with you.
I didn't expect them to jump in so quickly, and which was really great, though. They work so well with them. When they work in a small group, they're saying things the correct way to help the students learn better, and things that I learned in my teaching classes that they're using in here, and just probably catching on from other teachers or just have it in them.
Pursuing my dreams. I mean, I wanted to play basketball. You can ask my parents. I always said I wanted to be in the WNBA. I wanted to play basketball, and that was a lifelong thing. I wanted to play basketball for the rest of my life. And so for me to be able to continue my basketball career outside of school, I really feel like that's a dream of mine. And I've shared that with the first graders, that this was a dream of mine and I've pursued it, and that your dreams are never too big. You can always go get them.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed our look at the Junior Herd program, and certainly want to thank all the teachers, administrators, and staff at Kearney Public Schools who allowed us into their classroom to take a look at the program. Time for us to take a quick break. When we come back, our senior spotlight. Unfortunately, I missed out on that because of a bout of laryngitis, but our producer, DJ Johnson, will talk with Kenny Hill when we come back right after this.
Loper Review is brought to you by Nebraska Star Beef.
The Nebraska Star Beef Pure Promise. No antibiotics, no hormones, humane treatment of animals, USDA choice or higher, a price that is always fair, and satisfaction guaranteed. At Nebraska Star Beef, we pay close attention to what we feed our families and are passionate about delivering beef that you can feel good about serving to your family. Visit us at nebraskastarbeef.com for more information.
Programming is made possible in part by the Museum of Nebraska Art in Kearney. From the artist explores through the modern era to the art of today, Mona tells the story of Nebraska through the art of Nebraska. Whether you're online at mona.unk.edu or on our doorstep, there's always something new to see and do.
You're watching the Nebraska Star Beef Loper Review.
Hello and welcome to Senior Spotlight. As Randy said, I'm DJ Johnson, filling in for Randy. And our guest this time around is Kenny Hill, a defensive back for the Loper football team. And in the course of the past Loper Senior Spotlights that we've done, we've talked to a couple of seniors from Texas, a couple from Colorado, and one from Florida. And Kenny, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the player from Florida. How do you end up at UNK from a nice warm place like San Diego?
Well, I've actually got that question a lot the 4 years, so I think I mastered this answer pretty well. But I mean, me personally, I was looking for something a little different, a change, and I felt that Kearney, Nebraska would fit me pretty well. I wasn't really too sure about, small town and middle of the country, so far away from my family, but I mean, Kearney's not small enough where you're too bored, and it's not really a big city, so I felt like it was a perfect fit for me to come and start my college career.
What was it like when you first got to UNK and made the adjustment to living in Nebraska?
I came at semester. I showed up in January with flip-flops and a pair of Jordan basketball shorts. So, I mean, when I first got here, it was a big, culture shock for me as far as weather and just adjusting to the new area, but I mean, after a couple months getting through the semester and meeting all the guys and going through spring ball and everything, I felt pretty comfortable with where I was at.
Were there any surprises for you once you got here and started living here?
Well, I always heard that people from the Midwest were nice, and when I got here, it freaked me out at first because back in California, San Diego, a lot of people are mean and rude. So, I mean, just walking to class and a random person would drive by and wave at me, that kind of took me off guard at first, but I think people being so nice really surprised me, but I mean, I love it here now.
You and Arthur Hobbs were a significant part of the Loper defensive backfield for a couple of years. You both came from San Diego. After he was done here at UNK, he was picked up by the San Diego Chargers in your hometown, was on the scout team for a year. What was that like for Arthur to be on the hometown team?
It was a dream come true for him. I mean, playing professional football in general was a dream for him, and then being selected by the home team, that was an unreal experience for him. I heard it every day about how great it was, and just the experience of being a professional football player in your hometown. He just was soaking it all up and loved it all.
You and Arthur stay in touch quite a bit. Things have gone well for him with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Canadian Football League this past season. What are some things that have gone well for him?
He loves it. I mean, knowing him, he just wants to play. That was part of the reason of him going up to Canada. He teaches me a lot from what he learned from the professional level with San Diego and with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But I mean, he loves the overall feel of the town and the city. I mean, up there, they're professional football players, so they get a lot of love, and he loves it.
Just how far back do you and Arthur go? What has your friendship been like?
We go back to high school, and then actually my grandma has known his stepdad for 35 years. So we go back a while. High school, we always hung out, and once we went to junior college together, that bond really became a lot tighter, but we go back a little bit.
Unfortunately, your senior season hasn't gone the way that you would like. You had some injury problems for a good share of the season. Team hasn't had the success that everyone would like to see, but how have you dealt with it? What have been some things that you've focused on to stay positive and deal with that?
I mean, it states the obvious. It's been really tough, so I think keeping that positive perspective kept me going. I mean, it's real easy to stay negative about that, but there's really no point when, that's not going to help anything at all. So I think just staying positive and motivated that, it's my senior year, there's not much time left. I got to make the best out of what I have. That really kept me going, and just staying positive was the main thing. And I got me through the season, and I'm having a great time with the guys, even though the season hasn't gone as planned. I'm having a fun time, and I'm going to miss everybody.
Okay, nice positive thought to finish that on. Let's stay positive and look back at life for Kenny Hill before you came to UNK. What was it like growing up in San Diego and the Hill household?
It was fun. A lot of sports. My dad coached professional basketball. My mom worked for the NBA. And so, I grew up around sports. I actually didn't play football until high school. I played basketball with my dad being a basketball player and coaching, and my mom worked for the NBA. There was a lot of basketball and sports going on, but it was a fun household. My parents like to have a good time just like I do, and it's a lot of laughter going on, so it was a good time.
We mentioned your friendship with Arthur Hobbs and how important your mother and father have been in your life. Anybody else that has had a significant impact on how things have gone for you in your life?
As far as football, this would be really hard, not possible without a guy named Montel Allen. He does a lot of recruiting in San Diego and gets guys out of out of high school and junior college and gets them scholarships to places. He really helped me out a lot with sending out film and getting picked up here. I mean, my family, outside my cousins and uncles and aunts, they've all been supportive of me coming to college and playing football. And so just my immediate family and the help from Monte Island just really helped out a lot. And some of my coaches over at my junior college as well, too, helped out. So it's been a good line of people.
Have your family been able to see you play very often?
They watch every game on the internet. They were able to come out to 2 games this year. And so it's not every game they're there, but I mean, I love and appreciate when they do make it out. I know it's tough, so, but I do know they're watching every game, so that keeps me going during the games.
Almost time for graduation. Where do you go from here?
I'm majoring in sports administration. I'll be graduating in May coming up. In the spring semester, I'll be doing my internship upstairs here at UNK with Sean Fairbanks and a lot of people upstairs in the compliance office. So as far as my major, I might be going into that. I'm also working on possibly still continuing my football career, maybe with the CFL or somewhere else, but definitely not the end of the road.
Graduation is just around the corner. What might be 1 or 2 things that you'll remember most, or at least hope to remember most from your time at UNK?
Well, definitely my freshman year when we won the RMAC championship. That was a pretty special moment, a special team. And then I think just the overall football experience, I mean, with the guys in the locker room and waking up at 5 in the morning together. And I mean, it's a bond that no one can really understand unless you're part of it. And I mean, I can really take that with me.
Well, Kenny, thank you very much for your time and best of luck in the future. And that's our Senior Spotlight for this month. Randy will be back after this break with more Loper Review.
Loper Review is brought to you by Nebraska Star Beef.
The Nebraska Star Beef Pure Promise. No antibiotics, no hormones, humane treatment of animals, USDA choice or higher, a price that is always fair, and satisfaction guaranteed. At Nebraska Star Beef, we pay close attention to what we feed our families and are passionate about delivering beef that you can feel good about serving to your family. Visit us at nebraskastarbeef.com for more information.
Programming is made possible in part by the Museum of Nebraska Art in Kearney. From the artist explores through the modern era to the art of today, Mona tells the story of Nebraska through the art of Nebraska. Whether you're online at mona.unk.edu or on our doorstep, there's always something new to see and do.
You're watching the Nebraska Star Beef Loper Review.
Welcome back. You know, last year when we had MIAA 101, Professor Kelsey took a look at the history of the schools within the conference itself. Last month we looked at the history of the CSIC conference, which now makes up about half of the MIAA. Well, now Professor Kelsey is going to take a look at the history of the MIAA itself.
So far on MIAA 101, we've looked at the history and traditions of each of the MIAA schools. And last month, we took a look back at how many of the MIAA members were a part of the Central States Conference. This month, we go way back to bring you highlights of the conference from the beginning, over 100 years ago when the conference was created as the Missouri Intercollegiate Athletic Association. There were 14 original members, including current members Northwest Missouri and Central Missouri. The first change in membership occurred in 1924, when 9 schools left and only 5 regional state schools remained. The 3 besides Northwest and Central were Northeast, Southwest, and Southeast. Northeast is now called Truman State, Southwest is now called Missouri State, and Southeast is now a Division I school. For the next 56 years, there would be only 3 schools added to the conference: what is now Missouri S&T, Missouri St. Louis, and current member Lincoln University. Although Lincoln would leave in 1999 and return just last year. The entire conference became members of Division II of the NCAA in 1957. It was in the late 80s that changes occurred, leading to a name change in the early 90s. The conference added Southwest Baptist in 1986, before 4 former Central States members joined in 1989: Missouri Southern, Missouri Western, Pittsburgh State, and Washburn. Emporia State would join a year later, and the addition of the Kansas schools prompted the conference to change Missouri to Mid-America in the name in 1992. For those of you keeping score at home, that's now 13 schools. Southeast Missouri made their move to Division I the same year Emporia joined. Missouri St. Louis left in 1996, and Missouri S&T left in 2005. Now with 10 schools, the MIAA added Fort Hays State, another former CSIC member, in 2006, and the Nebraska Omaha Mavericks in 2008. So there were a dozen schools in the conference when the Lopers decided to join Lindenwood, Northeastern Oklahoma, and Central Oklahoma as members 2 years ago. Being in the same conference with UNO was one of the main reasons the MIAA looked good to the Lopers. But shortly after UNK made the commitment to leave the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, the Mavericks made the decision to move up to Division I and left the MIAA. Although the current conference lineup has only been in place for less than 2 years, there has already been an adjustment. Lincoln University and Southwest Baptist will not play football against the rest of the MIAA starting next season, but will continue to be in the conference for their other sports. They'll still play football, but will be associate members of the Great Lakes Valley Conference, the same conference former MIAA member Truman State joined 2 years ago. Among the milestones for the MIAA over the past century was the conference's first NCAA National Championship, when Southwest Missouri finished first in men's cross country in 1974. Central Missouri won both the men's and women's Division II basketball championships in 1984, and Pittsburgh State won the first football championship in 1991. The first full-time commissioner of the MIAA was Ken B. Jones, who was hired in 1981 and stayed on the job for 16 years. The Conference Student Athlete of the Year honor is now awarded in his name. The current commissioner is Bob Bo-Richter, who was hired in 2010 and is a former athletic director just down the road at Hastings College. There you have it, 100 years of athletic tradition in a nutshell. Next month we'll review how things turned out for all the MIAA fall sports. See you then.
Well, thanks, Professor, and we certainly hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving break. That's going to wrap up our show for this month. We want to thank you for joining us here on Loper Review. We'll be back again with a new episode right before the Christmas break. Until then, see ya and go Lopers.
The Nebraska Star Beef Pure Promise. No antibiotics, no hormones, humane treatment of animals, USDA choice or higher, a price that is always fair, and satisfaction guaranteed. At Nebraska Star Beef, we pay close attention to what we feed our families and are passionate about delivering beef that you can feel good about serving to your family. Visit us at nebraskastarbeef.com for more information.